Hi everyone. So in the last video we learned about unique constraints and how we want an ideal situation and usually the most common situation for our tables to be able to uniquely identify each role or each row by some piece of data. And so we added an ID to our table and we had it auto increment, so it would just automatically handle it for us. We don't actually have to think about the ID. And so now if we wanted to get rid of a Michael, we could delete from employees where ID equals 2. And then now we can grab any specific employee that we want and manipulate them in some way. But we haven't handled all of our proper table data structure yet. And so here's an interesting example and one that you might want to think of. So let's say that someone who's messing around the database wants to insert some data into it. Insert into employees, and then let's just say all they wanted to insert was a name. Values Charlotte. And now, so all we've inserted is just a name. And if we select everything from employees, you're going to notice position null, salary null, because those weren't provided. And so SQL says, okay, well, then I guess you want these to be what are known as null values. And that can be okay, but we try to, if you're thinking about employees, does it really make sense for an employee to be inserted without a position or a salary? Or in fact, without a name? We could insert someone without a name. We could just give them a position. And let's just say janitor. No salary, we're not paying them. And now we have someone with no name and no salary, but a position. And so usually that's not okay. That means that we're lacking data integrity, and we want to be able to prevent that. Well, SQL gives you a way to do that. So if we say drop table employees, now we're going to remake our employees table again. This time we're going to add a new attribute. So create table employees, and we're going to have the ID integer 7, and we'll set that to auto increment. And so let's just say the rest of the values should all be filled out. You shouldn't be allowed to insert into the database without any sort of name or position or salary. So we do name varchar 255. And what we can do to achieve that is we can add an attribute just like we did with auto increment. And so we can use not null. And we can do the same thing with position, not null. And we'll do the same thing with salary. Dang it. Well, that's gonna fail. And then we should set the primary key to ID. But that's gonna fail. So awesome. Let's go back and change that to a comma. There we go. So now we've set everything to be not null. So if we try to insert into employees, and watch what happens when we only try to provide a name this time. So values error. So it says field position doesn't have a default value. and we're going to learn about default values in the next video, but it did not let me insert anything into the database. So the whole query fails, and that's good. We want to have that protection. So if we look at employees, it's empty set. So now we are forced to fill out anything that has a not null constraint on it. So name, position, salary. And there we go. Now it'll let us go ahead and do that. So that's the not null constraint. In the next video, we'll see what it meant by that error about no default value. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.